Hello, Temple ladies. Welcome to tonight's Temple Talk. I'm trying something new tonight to get around the poor quality of videos on Facebook and streaming through Zoom. So that's why you see that little icon on my video screen. So fingers crossed this works well, because I've been finding consistently for months now, the quality has gone way downhill. I think because like everybody's on Facebook. So grab a journal and pen and your favorite beverage, a candle to light if you desire. I always light a candle for our trainings every Tuesday night. New ladies to the temple, welcome, welcome. Every Tuesday, 6 o'clock EST, winter hours. Those will be shifting as we move into spring and summer. Those are our winter hours. I bring whatever's happening on the planet collectively and personally for me and with my priestesses and my training programs and my colleagues. There's a theme of what's occurring, and I take that theme and break it down, distill it down like a tincture or an essential oil into the essence of what the message, spiritual message is for us, so we can digest more, learn how to digest what's happening in our lives in a way that's proactive and gets the deeper spiritual lesson and keeps us moving forward. And this one tonight is super important because we all have the inner saboteur, the aspect of the ego that can hold us back from moving forward in our lives. So welcome to this juicy talk tonight. I've also been working on my lighting, and as we get closer and closer to spring equinox, the sun is still up over the mountain. Isn't that cool? So we get to track based on these Tuesday talks where we are in the cycle of the year. Normally it would be pitch black right now, but I'm very excited to see there's more sun. So yeah, grab your journal and pen and sit with me for about 15-20 minutes for this very important conversation. Because, why address the inner saboteur? Why take a look at the shadow aspects of ourselves that we all have, all of us? No one gets to bypass this. We all have these inner conversations and dialogues that hold us back. And this is so important to address on the priestess path, because as spiritually gifted, empathic, heart-based, compassionate women, we must understand and recognize the aspects of ourselves that hold us back, because it is those inner conversations that typically aren't true, that are based on false evidence, might be based on the past, but we're reacting out of an old way of being, of a past wound of some kind, and that is holding us back from moving forward. So really, who is that saboteur? Many people could say it's a gremlin or a shadow aspect of ourselves. And this is an aspect that typically forms out of a past experience of trauma of some kind. Whether it was a heartbreak or a deep loss or losing someone that we love, stepping out in some way and being laughed at or ridiculed or shunned or ostracized, even worse. Many of us have these experiences when we're young in school, that there's a time, God, if I could think about the number of times on the path when women reveal that they have these beautiful voices. I have one in the program now that I'm thinking of. If she's listening, she'll know who she is. I shan't reveal the names. One that I'm thinking of that has this gorgeous voice, and she felt compelled to sing for us in one of our trainings. Actually, it was a retreat weekend, and I felt very spirit guided to open up a space for women to bring their gifts one afternoon. And it was an incredible experience to see all these women step into these incredible gifts and such a wide variety of offerings that they brought. And so this particular priestess decided to sing for us, and it was just so heart-opening to feel and see and witness this beautiful gift. And we're asking afterwards, oh my God, why aren't you singing more? What happened? And it goes back to childhood of stepping out, probably choir, or I think she said she had auditioned for a play in school and was made fun of because of her voice, like wasn't perfect to someone's standard, and she shut it down. So that's the first question to journal, is how many times have you stopped yourself? You shut yourself down because of what someone else thought about you. Oof. Just think about that. How many times have we stopped ourselves because of the fear of what we think someone would think of us? And it's typically legitimately based on some past experience. That's why in this conversation, we want to have compassion deep compassion for ourselves when we open up this conversation, because this aspect of ourselves has kept us safe in a sense. And it also has kept us small. It's kept us from being in the limelight, of stepping out, of sharing our gifts and skills to the next level. And why it's so important on this path as spiritually gifted, empathic, compassionate, heart-based women is you're here for a purpose. And there's something that you're called to create in the world based on your spiritual gift set. That's what this mystic priestess path and the trainings that I teach is all about, is facing the inner dialogue, inner shadow, inner saboteur that has held us back, and allow ourselves to have compassion and understanding for why that voice is there in the first place, that it has served a purpose, that it is based on some legitimate experience. And do we want to keep reacting from that old way of being for the rest of our lives? Or are you willing to take a look, allow yourself to heal, allow yourself to receive the gift of that experience and move the F on? Because we are grown-ass women, and we are actually the ones that are in control of our lives. We are actually the ones that are in control of our decisions, even though many times it cannot feel like that. I understand we have many responsibilities in this life, parenting and jobs and careers, professions, partners, all the roles that we play. But in this conversation, I'm speaking to the part of us that feels like we are out of control and that we actually don't have choice. So that's an aspect of the inner saboteur conversation we want to have is, okay, is that really true? As Byron Katie would say in her 4-point questions, is that really true? Is the first question. Second question, are you absolutely sure that's true? So typically right out of the get-go, out of the gate, we can recognize very clearly if this is a true fact or if this is something that we're reacting out of an old way of being that's a fear. And so I really like to respect the inner saboteur because it is showing us an aspect of ourselves that we've been hiding from. And so it's really important. It's a way of spiritually bypassing to think that we don't have shadow and wounding and trauma, an aspect of ourselves that wants to reject and push away parts of who we are. We all have it. So number one, write down, we all have a saboteur. Some of us have many. Number two, it has saved us. It has played an important role. Number three, we can choose for it to not have control anymore, because in every circumstance and opportunity that arises in our lives, we are at choice. How do we respond? And why a topic for today is from my own personal experience this weekend where I faced my inner saboteur pretty hardcore. It wasn't pleasant. I didn't enjoy it, but I went into it anyway, because I know when it shows up, it's here to show me something. And when I uncovered from sharing with my husband and my sisters and some of my mastermind partners, I have a noon Monday call with these powerhouse entrepreneurial women. We're all up to amazing things in the world. We support each other. And I shared this with all of them and got different perspectives, right? Because everybody has a different relationship to their saboteur. And my entrepreneurial sisters on Monday were like, oh, girl, we all understand. We all understand. One of them has a huge following, is getting ready to step out with her first podcast, and she's already been doing YouTube videos for quite some time. People can be really nasty. And I'm very blessed and protected, and so grateful that on this path of stepping out, I faced my inner saboteur over and over and over and over again. Can you imagine growing up in the South, steeped in Southern Baptist religion, stepping out, having the conversation about the feminine face of God and the divine feminine and the priestess path and women stepping into their spiritual power was a popular topic. Not so much. However, I've not had any pushback or negativity to this point, and I'm very grateful for that. And I know that as I grow and expand to an international audience, that might not always be the case. And so I was looking at all that as Marcel McBride International and the birthing of the mystery school happens this year, we grow our programs. We have multiple levels of programs now. We grow into initiations for children and men. That's down the trajectory down the road. We open up to sacred business training. All kinds of things are coming in the pipeline. It's requiring that I continue to get out of my own way. And so the saboteur is there to show us when we're up to something important. So that's the next thing to write down. I'm not sure what number we're on. I think we're on 4, maybe 5. That if my saboteur is showing up, then I'm up to something important. And so you can actually, if you have a healthy relationship to it, you can start to rework the way you respond to that input of information. It's actually an output of information based on the input. So it's coming from within us based on the outside circumstance. And so we get to choose how we respond. So this is where the work happens. This is where the priestess path kicks in. And the 9-month program initiation process that I take women through, we look at this as part of the 8 pillars. We face that shadow and resistance and do forgiveness work and release the past. You've heard me talk about this. And so we recognize we're at choice in how we respond to this. I can see that this is actually calling me out, that I'm up to something important. Cool. Let me identify that. What is the thing I'm up to? I'm very aware of what it is for me. Ask that question for yourself. And then have a dialogue with this part of yourself. It's there for a reason. Feelings and emotions and experiences aren't just happening randomly. On this path, everything's happening for a reason. That's what we believe. And so when we see that as the lens from the way we see our lives, there's always a deeper meaning to what's unfolding. Always. And so it's the way I choose to live my life. It's full of magic and miracles and possibility and awareness and consciousness and all the things I desire. It's not for everyone. Certainly, if it was, we'd have a much more enlightened world, but that's not the case that we're living in right now. We're experiencing a lot of dichotomy. So you're always at choice. How do you choose to respond? Open up that dialogue of conversation within yourself, and you can write down these steps. Anna, you'll be listening to this as a follow-up, my amazing assistant priestess. We should make this into a document, Anna. The steps of identifying the inner saboteur and how to healthfully deal with it. Please make note of that, and let's start that process. Thank you very much. This is how this work happens, just pours through. So once you get the deeper lesson, open up the dialogue of conversation, have a loving, compassionate conversation with that aspect of yourself and say, thank you for sharing with me something that's important. What is the deeper lesson for me here? What's the opportunity that's presenting itself? And then see what unfolds. Journal it out, dance it out, walk it out, whatever process works best for you. I do all those things based on how I'm feeling. Get that deeper lesson. And then I'm going to encourage you to share it with someone or someones that you trust. I'm at a point in my life where I've created an incredible amount of support system in every aspect of my life. And I'm so grateful for that. It's taken years to get here, but I've got so many people that I can trust to share these things with. And it's so important to be able to share it with someone that you trust, that can hold you in a compassionate space. So a non-judgmental space. Someone that you know will just listen and hold you in it. They don't need to problem solve it or fix it. If you want that, that could be another step. But this is something that's like putting on your big girl panties. You know actually what you need best. And if you need someone that does troubleshoot it and brainstorm the best way to come to a solution to this, cool. Or sometimes I'd recommend first trying to have the dialogue with someone that can just hold a compassionate, non-judgmental listening ear. Unconditional love. Unconditional love. That in itself is deeply transformational. Because when we can share these things with people, and that's what the priestess path and our collective circle creates for women, it is an unconditional, loving, non-judgmental space for us to face all of this. Because we're the ones that have been holding ourselves bad and wrong about it. Guilty of it as well. And not guilt as in, oh, shameful, but like, I've done that too. We all do that. And so what happens when we hold ourselves bad and wrong about it, and we don't have someone that we feel safe to share it with, we internalize it, we make up stories about it, it becomes another layer of the saboteur that's going to hold you back. because we don't feel safe. And so that's a question to ask yourself. Do you feel safe in your life enough to share these things with someone? And if you don't, find that person pronto, stat. And if that means hiring a counselor or a psychologist or a spiritual guide or a mentor of some kind, that's the space I hold for women, especially in our programs. Circles are the most powerful for this transformative fire. Just being witnessed in a compassionate space, a non-judgmental space, is deeply transformative. And actually having someone on the other side that's not trying to problem solve it, because when you problem solve, you go into your head. And so I'm talking about your heart space right now. So to be witnessed in that space, really important. And so if you can go through that process, that in itself can create breakthrough. And when you can get to the point of breakthrough, to get on the other side, the amount of life force that is returned to you is remarkable. I've witnessed it and experienced it for myself, witnessed it in others over and over and over again, because literally whatever we're making up about the thing that we're holding ourselves bad and wrong about, that's been the inner saboteur that's holding us back, has a tremendous amount of life force. And once that we can address that and open it up and allow some space to breathe and allow our hearts to open and to heal from it, that life force is released. And it can be returned back into the divine right actions that are in alignment with the purpose you are here to fulfill. Preach it, sister. I love this. It's so true. And so you can actually become your own healer. That yes, having someone to witness and support, maybe it's a person that you pay, maybe it's someone in your network. It's so transformative, sisters, and your life force is too precious, and the purpose that you are here to fulfill is too important to be waiting any longer. Seriously, we're coming to the end of the portal of the winter solstice time, and we've been steeped deep in the life force of planting the seeds of our desires and getting the deeper lessons and asking ourselves what we really desire. And spring equinox is the energy of release and excitement and action and life force returning for many of us that especially live in the Northern Hemisphere. And so keep your eyes open for a spring equinox. We are calling it an activation training. It's going to be a Saturday, March the 20th. Go ahead and pencil that in. Actually solidified that with the team today. Pretty sure we're going to be able to fit it into our calendar as long as we can get all the moving parts ready to serve you right for that day. Pencil that day in. We're going to have a powerful spring equinox day together. It's actually going to be like a retreat, immersion, activation day. And I feel that Spirit is planting that seed to lead that, because we've been in an extended time of the winter solstice all of last year into this year because of COVID. So COVID made us halt, slow down, look within. The masculine energy shifted to the feminine. Go within, be quiet, be inside your home, face yourself. So we've been in a extended time of the winter solstice, acknowledging that we've been deep in the lessons of gleaning the gold from this whole experience, and not just COVID, but all that's been happening socially, politically, environmentally, all of it. And so that day is going to be a day of celebration, release, letting go, stepping into the new. It's going to be very powerful. So put that in your calendar now, Saturday, the 20th of March. It's coming up. And that's going to be a very exciting time to share with you more opportunities coming in the temple and in the mystery school as we move forward. So that's why this is so super important, ladies, to face and address within yourself, and know that it doesn't have to be arduous. It doesn't have to be painful. Facing the inner saboteur, the inner gremlin, shifts your relationship to it. Doesn't mean it goes away. It simply means your relationship to it changes. And so that's so important on this path, especially as an entrepreneur, as a spiritually heart-based woman. Once you get a better handle on this relationship, your fear doesn't stop you any longer. And as we step out and stand in the limelight and do the thing we know we're here to do, whether it's to produce the book or launch the spiritually based business, to be that mentor, oracle, healer that you are, to step out as a speaker, to lead retreats, or how you're doing your parenting. I have an incredible priestess that's launching a podcast around open heart parenting. So excited for her. So excited to bring her in the temple when it's ready. Whatever way your gift is coming through, your voice is important. Your life matters. Your purpose is important. The world needs you. We're running out of time. We're on the trajectory of our spiritual evolution. Time, as we know it, will run out for this life. We will perish at some point. We don't know when. So what are you waiting for? This is a space, a sacred space. These weekly training, temple trainings, and the upcoming activation on the 20th, and the Priestess Activation online course that's coming in the spring, and then the 9-month immersion. These are incredible opportunities for you to step up and out into the purpose you came here to live and to be. I love you. Thank you for being here in the temple with us. Welcome to all of our new temple women. Share here in the comments below what you received from tonight. I'm really excited to hear. And if you're bold enough to identify what the voice of your saboteur is saying and what you're choosing instead, we can hold you in that. I would love to hear. That's you being at choice, identifying that's there and being at choice that you're making a different decision. Power in that, my sisters. Much love and blessings. Amazing to be here with you tonight. And I look forward to hearing what you share. Ta-ta for now. See you next week. Oh, there's Midnight, the super kitty, coming in to say hello. Hello, everybody. Bye for now.